the public, those entities would have become more efficient. We would have been able to deploy private capital, therefore enhancing efficiency in the operations of those entities. We'd have been able to deploy private expertise or expertise from the private sector. And Mr. Speaker, I mentioned the sugar industry because it is one such case. Well, Mr. Speaker, whether you go to Mumias, whether you go to Nzoia, whether it is Sony Sugar, Mr. Speaker, you'll be shocked that the kind of equipment that is in those sugar companies, Mr. Speaker, are so moribund and inefficient that it becomes so expensive to run those entities, and that is the reason why you will see the people of Mumias, every successive administration from the Kibaki administration to the Kenyatta administration, now with the exception of the RUTO administration, has pumped money into Mumias. But what have we derived out of the money that we have pumped into Mumias, Honorable Speaker? Absolutely nothing. So we have wasted a lot of public resources pumping into inefficient entities, Honorable Speaker, and that is what is informing this privatization bill, that we will enhance the efficiency with which we privatize state-owned entities, so that we deploy private capital, private expertise, private technology from the private sector, Honorable Speaker. If we had deployed private expertise in Mumias, Honorable Speaker, the cartels that have been running the sugar sector in Kenya would have been driven out of business years ago. And I must take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to commend His Excellency the President, because he has said, and he has told these cartels that there are only three things to do in this country. And in those words, Honorable Speaker, if I may quote him, he has said, Mambo ni Matatu. And in this Mambo ni Matatu, Honorable Speaker, because we have been speaking about the fight against corruption, Honorable Speaker. And I say speaking, Honorable Speaker, because all we have done in this country is to speak about the fight against corruption. Nobody has been bold enough to act on issues corruption. I must commend the President because he has indeed shown the country that with the Mambo ni Matatu, he intends to act on corruption, not to speak about corruption. Honorable Speaker, you remember in the last regime, at one point during a State of the Nation address, the former president, speaking about corruption, fired over 200 public officers, many of whom ended up getting back into public service, because we are all accustomed to speaking about corruption. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kajwang, what's out of order?
Madam Speaker, the majority leader is referring to what we have had out there as Mambo Matatu. Mambo ni Matatu. Can majority leader confirm that he is encouraging extrajudicial killing or people being sentenced to prison without judicial trial, or others deported to places without judicial, without procedure, due procedure, sending to heaven, sending to heaven, or sending to jail without judicial processes. Does that confirm that the majority leader is encouraging those practices?
Majority leader, did you encourage extrajudicial killings?
You know, Honorable Speaker, you know, my good friend TJ knows I have never encouraged anything extrajudicial. In fact, under the last regime, when people were cheering extrajudicial killings, when bodies were being fished out of River Yala, when